Turbo and 2K show.
What's up, 2K crew? It is that time of the week again, and yes, we are back. We are back. Hope everyone had a great 4th of July weekend. Hope everyone had as many digits coming out of the weekend as everyone had going in. And yes, your eyes do not deceive you. It is 2K's himself right here in the mix with me. 2K's, how are you doing?
Good to be back. How's it going?
We're doing awesome, man. We're doing awesome. We got a great show planned. I cannot wait to get some of your takes on some of this stuff. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to here. Let's get to the news. Let's start out. This is episode 214, 2Ks. Do you believe it? We've been doing it that long?
Yeah.
214.
Crazy to think about. Especially for me, I haven't been here in about 2 months. I mean, I think I've been here once in the last 2 months. Been busy here lately.
Hey, you know what? The show will roll on, but it will not be the same without you. Trust me. But yeah, episode 214, 2K crew. We want to give a big shout out to everyone on TikTok if you're watching. If you're watching over here on YouTube, on our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/2K crew, or on Twitter at Turbo and 2Ks, I believe. But yes, welcome everyone. And then for those of you that are watching, go ahead and hit the like button. Smash that subscribe, and if you're over on YouTube, hit the bell to get notified every time we go live. And our 2Ks, our podcast listeners have been coming back in full force. I mean, we've always been talking about they're the unsung heroes, but yeah, it is quite substantial, the increase in downloads over there. So thank you everyone for that. But 2Ks, let's start off with a little news here. I don't know in your sabbatical from the show if you saw that the Lakers drafted Bronny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. How could you miss it? You know, we've talked more about the 55th, 54th pick in this draft than we have of any other player. I haven't even gotten to know who the first pick of the draft was or anybody in the top 10, but I've heard everything about him. Yeah, what a joke. He's gonna have a spot there because of his old man and ride off the coattails of his dad through his very, very short career that we're about to see. Yeah, I'm not expecting much out of him. He wasn't even a top 50 player in college basketball last year. So
no, and it sucks that he almost died. Let's just throw that out there. I mean, that definitely probably delayed some of the progress for sure. But here's a cool tweet I found from Super 70 Sports. And 2Ks, this is kind of cool because I forgot to send you all these prior to the show. So this is your first first peek at this. Now tell me if you disagree with this this Super 70 Sports over on Twitter. You know, if Michael Jordan was in LeBron's situation, he'd have told his kid this wasn't a make-a-wish and to fuck off because he intended to play golf, gamble irresponsibly, and win championships.
Yeah. I have a feeling if the tables were turned, it wouldn't have been trying to get his son on his own team like LeBron did, where he kind of held the Lakers captive.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you have to take him, and I will sign this deal with you. If we're talking MJ, he probably wants his son on another team so he can kick his ass.
Yeah. complete utter opposite. Now, there have been some rumblings that people are saying that Bronny deserves to be on the Olympic team already.
How? He's not even close. I mean, that's just disrespect to some of these players that were drafted in the first round, were drafted in the top 10, and potentially were drafted in the top 5. Because really, I mean, those are the only kids that have a chance to make it. But I mean, we're not lacking talent in the NBA right now. We have an assload of American talent in the NBA. We're good. We don't need Bronny on that squad.
Yeah. And, you know, kind of continuing on the NBA talk here, Klay Thompson, actually, when I went live last week, 2Ks, it was like the start of NBA free agency. And this nugget dropped after the show. Klay Thompson signs with the Mavs. And FanDuel tweeted out, true or false, Klay Thompson would make the Mavericks the best team in the NBA. Your thoughts on that? So, I mean, you pair him with Luka and with Kyrie, and I'm pretty sure we can just say that Klay's a spot-up shooter at this point.
Oh, yeah.
He's a Ray Allen type.
Not the offensive player that he was, but still a very good defender.
Yeah.
And, you know, for them for Dallas, basically allowing Hardaway Jr. To move on from there and letting him go. This is a great replacement. I mean, you got better. You got a better replacement in Klay Thompson. So, no, I think that they're the favorite right now, just after that pickup, or to win it all. I don't know if I'd have them that far ahead yet. Still can't forget about the Celtics and what they got there. And I mean, the Celtics were they proved that they were
The Celtics paid everybody.
Yes, and they proved that they were quite a bit better than Dallas in that series. And Dallas has some things, especially on the defensive side of the floor, that they have to get better at before they can compete with that Boston team. Denver's going to get better. I mean, how about the 76ers? The Paul George signing was just huge. I mean, you get Embiid healthy, if he can stay healthy. That's always been the question mark with him. And then they signed the contract with Maxey. That was a huge deal to get that in place. So there's other teams that are getting better. I don't get me wrong. I love the pickup Klay Thompson to the Mavericks. And they are going to be a team that's going to compete for a championship again. But to be the favorite right now, I can't have them that high.
I'm right there with you. And if I was a good podcast host, I would have the odds up right now to tell you, what FanDuel thinks or what the books think. But that's just not our style around here. But I would agree that the Celtics are still, they have to be by far the leading favorite, just because they actually demolished excuse me, everyone they played in the playoffs. Now, you could argue that the East was weak and this and that, but to me, it doesn't matter. And then with Dallas, their defense was terrible. And with Klay, this is an upgrade there, like you pointed out. And I think offensively, I think he'll fit in great.
100%.
I mean, you got the abilities of Luka and Kyrie to kind of generate off the dribble, and you got one of the best 3-point shooters in the league, just chilling over there in the corner all the time.
He's never been asked to be a creator. He's always had that in Golden State, where he has creators for him. He has Steph Curry, the best shooter of all time, that can create for him, and that's where he does his best work. And now going into this scene, you have Luka and you have Kyrie. Those are going to be your two creators. He's going to just stick with doing what he does best, and that's spot up shooting. And great. I think it's a great pickup for him. I'm very excited, and I think it's a good pickup for them too, because probably the next best team that was in the running to get him is Denver, and you nab him, and I mean, if Denver gets that, he plays perfect into that lineup too. So I think that's where maybe the best thing for Dallas is they just kept him out of Denver's hands.
I would actually want to sit down and talk with a Golden State Warriors fan to be like, yo, you guys signed Draymond and let Klay walk. In my opinion, that's the complete opposite of what you should have done. And I know hindsight's 2020, but even leading up to the season prior to him signing or getting extended, he was terrible.
Yeah, with Draymond, it's just when Draymond's right and what he does for that team, as far as he can guard 5 positions on the floor, and the rhythm of their offense all runs around what he can do, and the screens and the passing, and he's a phenomenal passer. But it's the distractions with Draymond. Yes. I mean, it's what version are you going to get out of him? How many big time games is he going to be kicked out of the game in the first half and not even going to be able to play a factor in the second, or who's he going to punch next on your team at a practice? And it's just he's turned into kind of an embarrassment, I think, for Golden State.
Yeah, so in my opinion, like I said, I would much rather spend the money and keep Klay there and then let Draymond walk regardless, just because Klay, in my opinion, is a way better player, always has been a better player than Draymond. Will Klay get you the triple doubles that Draymond used to? No, but like you said, he wasn't asked to do that. That was not his role. But yes, he will hit 8 to 10 threes in a game, go 7 for 9 at the free throw line during a game. So yeah, I that would be a conversation I would really, really enjoy having. But 2Ks, let's switch over to the WNBA. And it seems like every time we talk about Caitlin Clark, there's always a clip from our show that just pops off the page as compared to all the other clips on our show. So hopefully that'll continue. But did you know, just the other day, this is from Joe Pompliano. Caitlin Clark just became the first rookie in WNBA history to record a triple-double. So partner that with a tweet from Barstool Sports. Angel Reese had 27 and 10 the other night. So Caitlin Clark said, "Hold my beer," and went for the first triple-double in WNBA rookie history while beating the first place Liberty. And I think that yes, you can say that the tweet is poking fun, of course, but the fact that not only she did it, but second of all, they're beating good teams now. This Indiana Fever team is getting better. So to me, and there's been so many tweets, so many videos made about how she's a shitty teammate and this and that. And if you even saw on Twitter the response from her teammates congratulating her, I don't know where all this is coming from, 2Ks. And to me, there is not a question as to who's the better player, Caitlin or Angel Reese.
It's fucking close. It's not even fucking close. And I guess kudos to Angel Reese, because I think she is pretty damn smart as far as she knows how to keep herself a very mediocre basketball player. She knows how to keep herself in the spotlight. So kudos. That's about the only compliment I can give her. And Caitlin Clark is on the opposite. I don't think she really wants to be in the spotlight. Her game automatically has put her there. She's the most relevant women's basketball player in the history of basketball, and doesn't even want to be that.
No,
she just wants to play basketball, and it's just I'm honestly, I fucking have always hated pretty much all of WNBA and watching. Never have put a minute, a second, nothing into watching it, and now it's just taken over everything, and I fucking hate it more. I'm so goddamn sick of it. Like, just let it go.
All right, let's go. Let's hit some baseball news before we get into the All Star teams here. 2Ks. There was a trade. The Brewers acquired Aaron Savale, and Jay Hey Kid over on Twitter added to that David Price, James Shields, Chris Archer, Blake Snell, Tyler Glass. Now, Aaron Savale. The Rays trade another great young starting pitcher for future assets. When will this disgrace cycle ever end? And 2Ks, let's just expand that, because it seems like they have done that for every player, let alone if they're pitchers or not, aside from Evan Longoria. He seems to be the only guy that they've actually fell in love with and said, "Hey, we want to give you a lot of money to stay here." So yeah, one of the things that I've been, standing on a soapbox, 2Ks, is with as many teams that are quote unquote in the mix for the wild card, I would much prefer to try to acquire talent prior to the trade deadline, because A, you get their services longer. B, I completely understand that you're going to overpay for them a little bit, but if that player that you're looking for, if you wait until the deadline, now you're inviting 2, 3, multiple other suitors to kind of push that price up. So it's kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Yeah.
And so for the Brewers to do this is huge, because they're actually pretty darn good this year, surprisingly. But yeah, the trade carousel has started, and I think this is just the first of many trades that we'll see. I just think it's going to come down to when are teams deciding, are we buyers or sellers? And I have a feeling there's going to be way more buyers than sellers, just because of the stupid, playoff format that they changed. So we shall see. But I'm not saying Aaron Savale is just a complete, lineup changer by any means, but the Brewers need innings. The Brewers signed or acquired, or Dallas Keuchel, didn't even know he was still in the league. He actually threw today, and actually didn't do too bad. Yeah. So they saw a need, addressed it, and it might be one of those kind of under the radar because it didn't happen during the trade deadline, and he's not a huge name.
Yeah.
He's not your Garrett Crochets and all of this, all the other top prospects. So
I think the Brewers are about the best team in baseball as far as just like how the way that they are able to develop players in their line, especially lineup. The pitching has been a little bit. I think that's always kind of been their weakness. They always seem to have one, maybe two arms, but they never can fill that hole. But it seems like position players, they always are able to just find these hidden gems and make the best out of it. And
Christian Yelich hasn't stunk this year.
No, he's been. I mean, he unfortunately missed about maybe a little bit over a month with the injury. But other than that, when he's been on the field, he has been.
He's not saying the Christian Yelich of old, but somewhere vastly different than where he was the past couple years, which was basically nowhere.
Yeah, and
nowhere.
Then you turn it over to Tampa. I think that everything that happened with Wander kind of changes the whole. That whole situation there. Not that they ever were going to be a high money team and we're going to buy guys, but I think they definitely look at keeping guys and trying to keep this whole thing rolling. If the most highly touted, most talked about player in that organization doesn't have what happened, and now it kind of has spun that whole franchise just to a point where you're selling. You're not competing for anything right now. You got to sell.
And it would not surprise me if they offer up Rosarena and a couple other upcoming prospects that are, or not prospects, I mean players that are entering, the later arbitration years and things like that. So here's kind of a cool one too, Case. This was from Adam Schefter, and let me bring it up here because it's kind of small. So hold on one second. It's not that one. Not that one. There it is. It's, like I said, this is a tweet from Adam Schefter to kind of put the Bobby Bonilla Day, kind of a whole bow wrapped on it. It says, Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. And this was, I believe, Monday. So it was the day after the podcast. So we weren't able to wish everyone on air a happy Bobby Bonilla Day. But Bobby Bonilla is set to collect $1.193 million from the New York Mets today, as he will each July 1st through the year 2035, which is $208,000 more than the $985,000 base salary that the 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy will make this season. So kind of a cool tweet. Does it mean anything? No, but it does put things into perspective. And I saw that and was like, definitely need to share that. We got the Red Sox Yankees going on over here. It's the bottom of the 6th, 0-0, really tight game so far. But yesterday, I believe, we saw Garrett Cole again get owned by Rafi Devers, which it seems that Devers not only got his 1,000th career hit off of him, but the next at bat goes deep. And again, this is a tweet from the Nugget chef himself, J. Hay Kid. Garrett Cole MLB career 2013 to 23, 3.17 ERA, and in 2024 a 6.75 ERA. Now, granted, a lot of that has come because of the injury. So how much is that playing into it? Who knows? But you can just see he's not the same dude that won the Cy Young last year. So it's going to be interesting. He's definitely something to keep an eye on. If you're if you're a baseball fan, obviously, if you're a Yankee fan, it's something you definitely want to keep track of. Kind of an interesting stat here on the other side for my Red Sox. This is from JP Long at Sox Notes. Ceddanne Rafaela's American League rookie rankings, 2Ks. He's got 49 RBIs, which leads all MLB rookies. 42 hits, which is first in the AL. 42 runs, 74 hits, which is first. 27 extra base hits, which leads all MLB rookies. 124 total bases, which is first in the AL. 10 home runs, second in the AL. And 11 stolen bases, second in the AL. So if you guys have not kept an eye on Mr. Rafaela, you should. He was the one that hit the 2-run home run in the top of the 10th for the Red Sox to win the opener against the against the Yankees. So definitely something to keep an eye out for that. 2Ks, you ready to talk about some All Stars?
Yeah.
Let's talk about some All Stars. Now we did have. Let's start with the NL here. Let me pull this up over here so I can see it better. I think what jumps out on the page so far, because the starters were announced earlier in the week, and then the pitchers and reserves were announced earlier today. And both of these tweets are from Jeff Passan, National League All Star starters. You got Contreras at catcher, Bryce Harper at first, Ketel Marte at second, Trey Turner at short, Alec Baum at third, Christian Yelich, Jurickson Profar, Fernando Tatis Jr. in the outfield with Shohei as the DH. And I believe Shohei led everyone in voting, whether American League or National League. What are your thoughts on just the starters here, 2Ks? Who did, in my opinion, Christian Yelich is the one that just jumps off the page because, like we talked about, the last handful of years has been very subpar for him. But Tatis Jr. again, not having a jump off the page season either. But Jurickson Profar, I think, is well deserved here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
He's always been that prospect. If you remember back when he was, he came up with Texas, he was that untouchable piece. He was the untouchable piece, and they finally were like, okay, they moved on from him, and kind of was, here and there, and then he finally finds a home in San Diego, and I think he's definitely made the best of it, because this season has just it's been his best season so far, and I think kind of what everyone thought the player he would be when he did come out. So what are your thoughts on the starters here?
Yeah, hard to really complain about any of them. I guess the only one I would question is probably at shortstop with Trey Turner, just because Turner's missed quite a bit of time.
Yep.
I'm not arguing that he's probably not the best shortstop in the National League, but I think just with the time that he missed, it's hard to argue C.J. Abrams. C.J. Abrams has been really, really good this year, and in my opinion, probably should be the starter of this game.
Now, the starters were fan votes, correct?
Yes.
And then the reserves are pure votes.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of keep that in mind as well, 2K crew. But let's move on to the National League reserves. You mentioned C.J. Abrams, Pete Alonso. So I have a very good feeling that because we've got Alec Baum and Gunnar Henderson already in the home run derby. Pete is home run derby Pete, so I have a feeling, yes, he'll be gracing us with his presence there. CBS Sports has Luis Arias as a first baseman. He's a second baseman. Mookie Betts, which he's hurt right now. Ellie De La Cruz, Freddie Freeman, Teoscar Hernandez, Ryan McCann from the Rockies, Jackson Merrill from the Padres, so the Padres are sending all of their outfield 2Ks. Let's see, DH, Marcelo Zuna, outfielder Heliot Ramos from the Giants, Brian Reynolds from the Pirates, who's been the hottest hitter on the planet, it seems like, for the whole month of the last half of June and going into July, as well as Will Smith, who quite arguably is the best catcher in all of baseball right now. So, is there anyone that you see here on this list, 2Ks, that, I mean, there really isn't a snub, you know what I mean?
No.
And with all of these guys, a lot of them are first and second time All-Stars, which I think is awesome. So do you have any gripes? Did they leave anyone out before we get to the pitchers?
No, nobody that jumps off the screen at me. I mean, look, you can make arguments for a lot of different players, but nobody that really jumps out to me that was snubbed.
Yeah. I think the players done good on this one. In the National League pitchers, Tyler Glasnow, Ryan Hensley from the Cardinals, Jeff Hoffman from the Phillies, Imanaga from the Cubs, Ronaldo Lopez from the Braves, who he never gives up runs. So that's awesome to see him there. Chris Sale with the Braves, having a very, very awesome rebound year. Tanner Scott from the Marlins, Paul Skenes from the Pirates, which kudos to ESPN for announcing him last, because I'm pretty sure everyone was holding their breath seeing if Mr. Skenes would make the team. Matt Strahm from the Phillies, Ranger Suarez from the Phillies, Robert Suarez from the Padres, Logan Webb from the Giants, and Zach Wheeler for the Phillies. That is one hell of a pitching staff, 2Ks. And again, just get kind of shooting from the hip here. Chris Sale's probably the most tenured guy on this list, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously his first All-Star nod as a National League player. Prior to that going, from the White Sox to the Red Sox. But even as a Red Sox fan, I think it's awesome that what Sale's doing. Yes, I am also a Braves fan, so that helps as well. But as far as pitching staff here, 2Ks, this is legit.
Mm-hmm.
This is legit. Now the argument is going to come, who's going to start? And it just so happens that it's lining up for Paul Skenes to start. Which, wouldn't that be electric?
Yeah.
That would be awesome. That to me, that's what 98% of the people want to see. Paul Skenes start the All-Star game. And if you don't think he's worthy, just wait, because we are going to dick ride Paul Skenes as we have probably, I'm not going to say more than everybody else, because they all do it too.
Yeah, that's what everybody wants to see, is Paul Skenes have to go and just throw one inning.
Yeah.
Because he can dial it up. He doesn't have to throw like a typical start where he has to be out there for 6-7 innings. He, in the All-Star game, you get to go out and throw one inning.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't work out that well. I think there's been some years watching like Max Scherzer where he gets a little bit too amped up and just didn't have any of control or command on pitches. But for a guy like Paul Skenes that can he can dial it up, throw harder than anybody in the game
with such ease.
Yes, just give him one inning on one of the biggest stages in all of baseball in his rookie season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
pretty incredible to see.
And just to kind of give a little prelude here, wouldn't it be awesome for him to face Gunnar Henderson leading off, Juan Soto hitting second, Aaron Judge hitting third, against Paul Skenes? To me, that'd be awesome. That'd be absolutely awesome. But yeah, let's get to the American League starters here. 2Ks. We've got Adley Rutschman at catcher. No argument there. Vladdy Jr. at first, Jose Altuve at second, Gunnar Henderson at short, Jose Ramirez at third. The outfield is Aaron Judge, Stephen Kwan, Juan Soto, and DHing is Yordan Alvarez. As far as like the only one I'm kind of shaky on here, 2Ks, is Vladdy.
Mm-hmm.
And no disrespect to him. I mean, he's hitting near 300 if he's not over 300. So it's just been, I think all of us are waiting to see that power game come back like he did, I believe 2021 or whenever he was just going off. That's kind of, but if you look at the rest of the American League first baseman, I mean, Tristan Casas is hurt. He's been hurt. He's only played a handful of games. So obviously that's not something that can happen. The only other first baseman they have in the reserves is Josh Naylor for the Guards, mm-hmm. which he's having a hell of a season. But as far as who we have to pick from, did that get out or no?
It did get out.
Devers loves hitting against the Yankees, but leading up to this 2Ks, Judge hit a ball I thought was leaving the stadium, and it held up. Dude's got a hose.
Yes, he does.
Dude's got a hose. But your thoughts on the American League starting lineup here, 2Ks?
Yeah, American League, this starting lineup is, to me, you can think of, I see players in the reserves that, you can make very good arguments that, they could potentially be starters, but it's so hard to argue the starting lineup. Just fucking loaded.
And
loaded.
We're going to have this is the first time in we're probably over a decade that we're going to, no, there it is. See, all the balls prior to that one, we're doing that. So thankfully Devers hit it to left and not right. But we're going to have the annual argument, who's better, Gunnar Henderson or Bobby Witt Jr., which is a debate I can't wait to have.
Yeah.
Because these guys are both awesome. Both deserve to be starters in this game. but getting to the reserves, Carlos Correa, Rafi Devers, Jaron Duran, who ironically enough is the thumbnail for this week's show, because I made the thumbnail and everything at like 3:30 this afternoon, so didn't even know if he was going to be on the team or not. But yeah, he leads he has the most stolen bases, triples, doubles. I mean, the dude is just doing everything. So I'm glad that he was invited. David Fry for the Guardians, Riley Green from the Tigers, which 2Ks. I watched some video on this kid. Might be my favorite left-handed swing in baseball right now. I mean, it's beautiful. It is absolutely gorgeous. Josh Naylor, we mentioned. Paredes from the Rays, Salvi from the Royals, Marcus Semien from the Rangers, Bobby Witt Jr. from the Royals, and Kyle Tucker from the Astros. I think the only guy that I would even make a case for would be Santander from the Orioles.
Yeah, the home run numbers. I think another one that I thought, because the David Fry doesn't. I'm not like, I understand Stephen Kwan. He's in the starting. He's been 364 or something like that as we speak. Very hard to argue that. David Fry though, I make a. And I know, Oakland is really, really bad, but there's an argument to be made over Rooker there. I think he's close to 20 home runs.
Yeah,
Santander has over 20 home runs. To me, those two, I would have to put. I would say both of them are more deserving than David Fry, where we're at right now.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some Guardian fans out there that want to fucking argue it, but
ironically enough, the Guards have the most representation.
Yeah,
which blows my mind.
I mean, hey, look at their record. They know they find ways to win baseball games, and very, very good team. But all-star caliber players, and the thing with Rooker and Santander there for Baltimore is this isn't the first year that they've done this.
No,
they're two proven bats.
Yeah, I'll put the starters up here for you guys and gals. So I did make a slide for that, just forgot. Whoops. But yeah, 2Ks, let's go into the pitchers here. We got Tyler Anderson from the Angels, Corbin Burns from the Orioles, Emmanuel Clase from the Guardians. I mean, you can tell how much Guardians baseball I watch. Garrett Crochet from the White Sox, rightfully deserved. Logan Gilbert from the Mariners, Clay Holmes from the Yankees, Tanner Houck from the Red Sox, Seth Lugo from the Royals, the fireballer Mason Miller from the A's, Cole Regans from the Royals, Tarek Skubal from the Tigers, and Kirby Yates from the Rangers. And speaking of Skubal, 2Ks, he put together a fucking start today. Yeah. Damn.
It's gonna get really, really interesting to see how things shake out here, especially getting closer to the deadline, because teams are gonna be. I think there's going to be some teams out there. I think we're watching a team right now that's going to really be looking for a pitcher and going to be willing to give up a lot. I think Baltimore, another team in this division, is going to be looking for a starting pitcher. And everybody talks about the obvious one with the Tigers is Flaherty. They got to move Flaherty. And I think for a lot of Tigers fans, you don't want to lose Skubal.
Mm-hmm.
But if a team's going to knock you off their feet with an offer and send you something, similar to like what was given up in the Soto trade and on and on. Like, if team's going to be willing to do that, and there's going to be some teams that are desperate that need pitching, I think that's something that the Tigers have to think about, because let's be honest, Tigers are a long ways away from it. I thought they were closer when the season started, and they're not. And by the time they get to where they want to get, probably the best days of Skubal are going to be behind him, and that contract's they're going to have to pay him right now if they make a move. He's under control for another 3 years, I believe it is. So it's gonna be interesting to see. I don't think that they're going to move him, but I think that there's going to be a lot of offers on the table.
Sure.
And Scott Harris is going to have some big decisions to make here, and Skubal, I think, is going to be the main name that he has to make it out. Flaherty is for sure gone. They're going to trade him.
Yeah, and I kind of talked about the Garrett Crochet it was either last week or 2 weeks ago, and if you look at the haul that the Padres sent over to get Dylan Cease in the offseason, you're going to have to make that a little bit more rich, because, like you said, especially with Crochet, he's under control for a long time.
Yep.
and as is Scooble. I mean, would hate to see him go as a Tigers fan as well. But you're right, there are just too many holes and not enough pieces. And let's be honest, that offense stinks.
Oh, it's terrible.
That offense
terrible.
stinks.
That's terrible. And the one thing the Tigers have been able to develop in recent years, especially with the addition of Hinch and the addition of Chris Federer as the pitching coaches, they've been able to develop pitchers.
Yeah.
They can't develop offense.
No.
So they gotta go get guys that are already there. Not You're not having to so much leaning on developing them. So about the only one that they've developed this far has been Riley Green.
Yeah.
And talked about him earlier being one of the reserves in this game, and deservingly so. But no, it's gonna be Drake Skubal, in my opinion, and call me fucking biased, whatever. I think he's the best pitcher in the American League right now.
Well, hands down, he is the American League Cy Young Award winner right now. If they were giving it out right now, there's nothing to argue. Sorry, I mean there just really isn't. That's not being biased. That's just being a baseball fan, and now being a Tigers fan, you watch him probably more than a lot of people. Sure. But when he's putting up starts like he did today, wow, that is just it's unbelievable. I mean, there was one tweet that said it was video game numbers, which is true.
Yeah.
Just would he strike out 13, gave up like 2 hits, no, like 1 run or something ridiculous. Went, I believe, 7. So yeah, I mean, just a great start. Just a great start. Well, 2Ks, you ready to do some dick riding? Because that's what we've been. We've been pigeonholed as the podcast that dick rides Paul Skenes. But you know what? It's an easy ride.
Yeah,
it really is. It's an easy ride because we're not reaching for anything. We're not making up stats. We're not doing stuff or something that's completely out of the ordinary. I mean, this guy's doing it. So if call us dick riders, yes, hand up right here. I will be the first one on that list. But as far as actually, kind of justifying it, well, let's go. We already talked about him possibly starting the All Star game, but the Pirates account actually tweeted this out. Most strikeouts in the first 10 career appearances since at least 1901 2Ks. Excuse me. Number 1 is Kerry Wood in 98. He had 94. Herb Score, if you remember Herb Score from 1955, had 92. Jose De Leon, 1983, had 85. Hideo Nomo had 83. Doc Gooden had 80. Tanaka in 2014 had 79. Probably the closest comparison we have to Paul Skenes right now is Steven Strasburg at 79 and Paul Skenes at 78. So see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's the 8th person to do that. So yeah, there's that part of it. Is that good? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's look at some more. This is from which if you don't follow this Codify Baseball on Twitter, you probably should, because whoever's putting this stuff out is doing very good. Paul Skenes has started 10 games for the Pittsburgh Pirates and has never left a game with his team trailing. Is that good? Is that good? I don't know. Seems pretty good to me. And here's another one. Let me grab it here so I can read it. Paul Skenes, through his first 10 career MLB starts, 5-0, 2.12 ERA, 59.1 innings pitched, 78 Ks, and a 1.01 whip. Now, 2Ks, the biggest thing coming into this, the whole Paul Skenes experience was, they were babying him.
Mm-hmm.
They were bringing him along really slow. AAA, just barely going 3 innings, then barely going 4 innings. They were ramping him up. Is he going to have the longevity? Ooh, damn. And I think he's kind of squashed that 2Ks. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's going 6, 7 innings every single outing. And what's even cool about this is he's doing it in a very pitch count, he doesn't have a high pitch count. Right. If you remember Verlander when he first got up, he was trying to strike everybody out. Mm-hmm. And was only going for 3 or 4 or 5 innings because the pitch count was up. So Skenes has not had that happen. So he's obviously checked that box, right? So and this is from his last start here, 2Ks. The previously mentioned Mustache Man went 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 2 walks, and 8 Ks. And that was against the Mets, 2Ks. And the Mets, we all kind of were shitting on all over in the offseason. They're right there in the in the National League wildcard hunt. Mm-hmm. So hot team. Skenes says, you know what? Nope. Boom. Here we go. This is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. And I got one more here, 2Ks. Again, this is from his start the other day. This is from Platinum Cobrian at Platinum Key 13 over on Twitter. 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, 1 home run. 107 pitches, 69 strikes, 11 whiffs. He has a 2.12 ERA this season. He's not just the National League Rookie of the Year and an All-Star. He's a top 5 pitcher in baseball. And I wanted to end it with that because I don't think you can argue that fact.
No, I agree. I
mean, he is must-watch TV every time he toes the rubber.
Yep.
And whether it's I think his personality is awesome. I mean, rocking that stash is just legendary. Mm-hmm. 2, the way he goes about it, like I mentioned earlier, he has 101, 102, 103 gas and just looks like he's playing catch, which to me is just silly. And then just all the other things, like he's in my opinion, as a young player, he's a pitcher. 2Ks, not a thrower. He's a pitcher, and that's what separates the men from the boys here. And he's doing it at the age of a boy, which I think is even more impressive. So yes, are we dick riding? I really don't think so. I think we're giving credit where credit is due. And if you think we are dick riding, go watch one of his starts. Go watch one of his starts because you will be like, holy shit. Turbo and 2Ks were not wrong at all.
No. And I mean, and in a game today, like where all of the faces of baseball are for the most part position players. Mm-hmm. We don't have the Justin Verlander, and we didn't going into this year. The Justin Verlander dominant pitcher, the Clayton Kershaw dominant pitcher that we're bigger than the offensive players. We have. I mean, we're so fortunate to have an Aaron Judge, to have a Juan Soto, to have Gunnar Henderson, to have. I mean, the list can go on for days with all these position players. Shohei Ohtani, because to me with Ohtani, it's his hitting that you enjoy. Everybody enjoys watching. Yeah. Is he a good pitcher? Yes. Is he a phenomenal pitcher? No, he's not. He's not at that level. And then, so the Skenes kid, we're fortunate enough to watch him last year when he's still in college.
Yeah.
And he goes through that run there where LSU wins the World Series for college baseball. Big reason because of him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was the guy. Dylan Cruz, you talk about him and some of the other good position players that they had, but Paul Skenes was the guy. Yeah. He was the guy that was untouchable all through that. And now, fast forward to this year, I think that for a lot of people, we didn't even really expect to be seeing him at this point.
No, there was clamorings coming out of spring training, like, why in the hell is this kid not breaking camp with you guys?
Right.
And it all comes down to the arbitration years and everything. Right. Everyone understands.
Pittsburgh's not competing for anything, so what's the point of rushing this kid?
Yeah.
Let's not rush him. But then he pitches his way to the big leagues because he's just so dominant.
Yeah.
At the minor league level, and then gets up here, and it's like there's no learning curve. There's none of that. He shows up and from day one has been a top 5 pitcher in the game. Mm-hmm. He's probably more dominant as far as physically dominating than anybody in the game.
Yeah.
What he can do, and he's a starting pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
He's not fortunate like a lot of these guys that can just overpower you, that come in and they only have to throw an inning or two. This guy comes out and he's learning and getting better every single time we watch him.
Yeah.
And he's doing it on a pitch count because they're not allowing him to go throw over 100 every 5 days like a lot of these other veteran pitchers in the game. Yeah. And he's doing this and he's learning and it's not that he knows that he can dominate and throw it by guys, but he wants to learn to pitch and he wants to hang around games and be in the game in the 6th and 7th inning. So he's pitching that way and getting better at it as we go. Where this kid's going to be, and as long as he stays healthy in the next 3-4 years, he's going to be and in his own fucking island as far as other
Yeah.
pitchers in the game. That's how good this kid is.
And
So
we have Dick rode him, and Jones is right there with him.
yeah.
I mean, he's been just as good.
Mhm.
So we're gonna have to see, going down this 2Ks is I think these two boys are gonna, along with O'Neal Cruz, they're gonna either force their way out of Pittsburgh or force Pittsburgh to open up their pocketbook, because what they have brewing there in Pittsburgh is going to be great for years to come. And will it be sad? Sure. If Paul Skenes is a Red Sox, I would love it, absolutely love it. But it will be interesting to see moving forward what the Pirates do with these players. They've kind of locked down Cabrian Hayes for a while, and he's been the one that's kind of been, he's kind of the elder statesman of this crew, even though he's only been there a year or two more than like O'Neal Cruz, and probably 3 years more than Paul Skenes. So they have the core to do it. Now it's whether they continue to add to it and keep them, a la the Orioles, what they're doing. So that's where, and they're, believe it or not, they're 4.5 back in the wild card spot, and they're 42 and 47. So still not at that 500 mark, but as we've seen with some of these other ones, like the Mets were like 12 games under 500. They're sitting at 500, 2 games back of the Padres for that last wild card spot. So is it completely out of bounds to say that with a really good run from this Pirates team, they could fuck around and get that third wild card spot? I don't think it's outlandish. I don't. However, the Padres are playing very good baseball right now, as are the Braves that lead the wild card here. And the Cardinals have come like out of nowhere, and they're a very good baseball team, and having next to no production from Arenado or Goldschmidt. So it's I'm not going to go out on a limb and say yes, bet on them to get that final wild card spot, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. But yeah, that's our Dick writing Paul Skenes segment for the week. For those of you keeping track, is there anything else you want to add to it? 2Ks. Just, I mean, I think you and I both agree that he should start the All Star game, and it would be completely awesome to see him just gas it for an inning, to see just every pitch over 100 miles an hour. I think that'd be sweet. And then a very, very good litmus test. Yes, it is an exhibition game, yes, but him facing the top of that American League lineup would be electric. We went through the whole him against Ohtani for the first time. Well, let's see what he does on arguably the biggest stage of his career at that point, the All Star game, and let's see how he handles Gunnar Henderson, Juan Soto, and Judge, if that's the American League manager would be silly not to have that as your 1, 2, 3. But yeah, I would love it, and in my opinion, we're not dick writing. We're fans, and if you're not or haven't seen, again, I'm a broken record here. Watch some of his tape, watch one of his starts, and you'll be like, holy shit, you're right. You are right. Well, 2Ks, we got a top 5. We got a top 5 for you guys and gals. Since we're talking about All Stars, and I believe I sent you, it was top 5 American League pitchers right now, correct?
Yeah. Now, are we going just starters or all pitchers?
Mine are all starters.
Okay.
With an honorable mention that is not. So that's kind of my list.
Okay.
I'll give you my 5, and then we'll go yours, and then if you have an honorable mention, we'll throw it into. But number 5, I've got Garrett Crochet. I think what he's done, even though it's a very small sample size, everyone was so enamored with Dylan Cease leading up to the last couple years and the deadlines, and then the trading, off season and everything. And I think this kid is even better.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately will not be with the White Sox much longer, or fortunate for him, I guess.
Yeah.
Because that team stinks. That is horrible. But yeah, I've got him at 5. Give me Tanner Houck at 4. He's been the ace of this Red Sox team that has far surpassed anything that I could have ever imagined this team doing this season. They currently have the 3rd and final wild card spot, and it seems the longer this team plays, the better they get. And they've been doing this without Tristan Casas, which last year had the most home runs by a rookie, I believe. Didn't really get a whole lot of love in the American League Rookie of the Year, which he quietly did. I think he got more more love for being excuse me, just his unusual pregame and kind of that kind of stuff. But yeah, Tanner Houck's been their number 1 all season. So give me him at number 4. Give me Seth Lugo at number 3. That kid's just been amazing. Number 2, Corbin Burns. I mean, that signing by the Orioles that trade was huge. That was we need this. We are. Oh, Pete Alonso is, breaking news from Polar Pete 20. I am so honored to be selected as an all-star and representing the Mets. I'm excited to announce that I will participate in the Home Run Derby. No shit, Pete. That's what you do. And you probably will be the favorite to win that because Pete is awesome at the Home Run Derby. But yeah, that get out. There's Rafaela, dude. I'm telling you. For a dude that can play short and center, how often do you get that? And plays both extremely well. Get it, kid. But yeah, number 1, Skubal. I mean, he might be. He's a top 5 pitcher in baseball, period. But he is, if not 1A in all of baseball, in my opinion, right now. So got a lot of love for Skubal. Who's your number 5 2Ks?
Yeah, my list is pretty similar to yours. Number 5, I will go Tanner Houck. Yeah, he's been the ace for this Boston team. Been really, really good. But really has gotten nothing but better every single year, and just his young career.
Now, what's even more impressive with him is that prior to the season, they were going back and forth whether he was going to be a starter or in the bullpen. And because of necessity, they moved him to the starter. Both him and Cutter Crawford were kind of slated, like best case scenario, to be in the bullpen. And both have pitched very, very well as starters this year. So kind of a quick aside there.
Number 4, I'm going to go Seattle, Logan Gilbert.
Love that whole pitching staff over there.
ERA, really, really good. Hasn't had a whole lot of run support, and it kind of shows with his record not being as good. I think he's like a 5-5 or 5-6, or he might even have a losing record, but that's not so on him. That's just not getting any run support. And kind of Seattle's been maybe arguably one of the most disappointing teams this far into the season. Just that offense has really not been able to take off.
They have a run differential of +4.
Yeah. Offense has not been and last year it was the power numbers, right? They had such good power numbers, and then they pitched the ball really well. And this year, kind of going into the season, everybody talked they might have the best rotation in all of baseball.
An extremely young rotation too.
And offensively, it has not been very good. But Logan Gilbert, I think, where we're at right now, it may be the best out of a very good pitching rotation.
Yes.
Number 3, I think you had him at number 3 also. Seth Lugo for Kansas City. Kind of come out of nowhere, like just knows how to pitch. Not an overpowering guy, knows how to pitch, and throws a lot of pitches. Just eats a lot of innings, does everything really that you can ask for. And a big reason in Kansas City's success that they've had this year is, for me, he's been the number 1 pitcher on that team. Number 2, Corbin Burns. I mean, if it wasn't for who we have at number 1. Corbin Burns is a top 5 pitcher in all of baseball. Huge pickup for Baltimore. I expect Baltimore to add another arm when it's all said and done. They have a young kid in Grayson Rodriguez who's on the way. who's going to be very, very good for them for a long time also. But I think that they're going to be a team that's going to be really, really in the mix of things, trying to add another pitcher, and could be the team that wins it all this year. And then number one, Tariq Skubal. I think he can make a case that he's the best pitcher in all of baseball right now.
Yep.
I think there's going to be a lot of teams that are calling Detroit, trying to make a deal in the next few weeks. And yeah, why wouldn't you? I mean, you add that to a left-handed pitcher who has swing and miss stuff, and just completely dominant, and under team control for a few more years before you even have to really have to pay the guy. So yeah, I think it's pretty easy. I think even if we added National League and did the whole Major League Baseball, I think Scuba would be my number one in that also.
And my kind of honorable mention is we've talked about him. We've Dick Road this guy too, and it's Mason Miller. Again, another hot commodity. Will the A's entertain offers for him? I don't know. They'd be silly not to. Again, they're another team that is terrible. Surprisingly better than last year. And I think he along with a couple other guys are one of the main differences that between last year and this year. But yes, probably will be on the move. And again, especially someone like him, where it comes into, the bullpens are used a lot different in the playoffs as compared to the regular season. So a guy like him, that what he can do brings a lot more value for a lot of teams. I mean, there's probably 29 other teams that are like, yep, we want Mason Miller too. And if you don't, then I mean, he could help any bullpen. I don't care who your closer is. So yeah, that's my honorable mention. In my opinion, he's like the only kind of standout non-starter that I would give any kind of love to. And especially considering he brings even more value too, because he's so young. We've, especially in the high leverage situations that he's in for as young as he is, it's another tip of the cap. You know what I mean? So that's my honorable mention. Did you have an honorable mention too, Case?
If I did, I mean, he would probably be the one. You had him on your list. I didn't have him on mine, but Garrett Crochet, another one. We don't talk about a whole lot just because the White Sox are so bad.
Yeah.
But I think that he's definitely going to be on the move here at the deadline. He's going to go to a really good situation. He's going to be under team control, and I think that's when we're going to probably see the best version of him.
Yeah, because I mean, it has to be demoralizing. Like the one, like the Justin Steele for the Cubs had went winless for like his last 13 appearances, and finally got a win the other day. Why? Because he threw a complete game.
Yeah.
He threw I think the Cubs won like 3-1 or something stupid like that. So again, another one of the very big disappointments in 2024 is that Chicago Cubs team. So again, will they be buyers or sellers? I have no idea. But they should be way better than what their record says right now. And that big old contract that their coach got, that's not looking good.
Yeah.
That's not looking good. Well, that was one hell of a top five here, 2Ks. And I sent you this in a text, and I saw the idea on TikTok, and I thought it'd be really cool is if we tried to guess the site of each game day coming up for college football. So let us know in the comments if that's something you want us to do. We're probably going to do it anyway, just because I believe we are 55 days getting there. I think it's 7 or 8 more Sundays until NFL football.
We're like a little over a week away from college football coming out on PlayStation, Xbox, all them. When that game comes out, I will probably be gone for a few weeks, hiding out in my house, playing a lot.
Yeah. That's it's funny to hear, like, if you follow Kirk Herbstreit at all of the hours and commentary that he had to put down in order for that game to come to fruition is just And he's like, we're talking about hours of me reading scripts in my closet and then sending them to EA Sports. And he's like, just the amount of hours, and then they want me to redo it and this and that. And I was like, as far as like a game is concerned, I never even would have thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like how much time that would take to, and how much just data that would be for every single player, starters anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you're on Twitter or anything, there's a whole like sphere of folks talking about this game, giving their best tips and tricks already, and the game hasn't even come out yet. So definitely something that we'll have to get an update from you, how your dynasty's going and how many national championships Michigan has won with you on the sticks. So yeah, you'll definitely have to keep us updated, 2Ks.
Yeah, looking forward to it. When I first get that game, I might not be playing with Michigan right off the bat. You got to work your way up. I'm a beginning coach.
Right? So. Yeah. Hey, you heard it here, folks.
Might be starting now in Western or something like that. Working my way up.
I see.
Turn one of them programs around.
All right.
Become one of them coaches that everybody wants.
I love it. Well, we'll get you out of here on that, 2K crew. Everyone, thanks for watching over on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Everyone have a great week. And as always, Jim Rome, we're coming for you.